Basically, if you want to measure a bore, you can stick a vernier in there and you can try and measure it, yeah?
Okay.
Not top, but if you look around here, you've got a ring land there. So there's always going to be where it's been used, yeah? It's always going to have a ridge round there. Unless it's brand spanking new. So to measure it accurately, you get one of these, called a bore gauge. So the way it works is, you have all different lengths ones of those for different size bores.
Okay.
Okay? Now that bit there is spring loaded. Yeah? So that lets you take up the bore. Okay?
Yeah.
That there, that pin, is the only bit that measures. Okay? So you put a vernier in the end of there. Not even a vernier. That's just started moving. So now when you press that little bit there on the back, yeah?
Yeah.
Gives you a reading there, yeah?
Okay.
So what you've got to do is set it up so you've got... So I can put a much longer rod in there, or next one up maybe. You can adjust all the lengths that these go in and out. Right, so let's see what we've got here. Right, that's too long because you can't gauge it. Shorten your post down. Still a little bit too long because you want to get it down to your minimum amount of movement on the gauge, yeah?
Yeah.
Otherwise you end up having to count round on the dial gauge. You don't want that.
Okay.
Okay, so what you do, you want to measure the top of your bore, front to back.
Yeah.
Just a basic guide. Middle of the bore, bottom of the bore. You rock it. So that's still moving, still moving, still moving, still moving, still moving. Still moving. Right, just equaled out there. Look. You rock it till that needle doesn't move anymore, okay? You undo that and zero it out. Check it again. Come that way just that touch more. And rock it. That's about a thou out. We'll go back to zero again. That's that, that's that. Back in the middle, so you've got zero there, yeah?
So what is that measuring?
The diameter of that bore. Okay, so when you rock it up and down, you want it to stay dead on zero, just at that waypoint there. So that's at the top of the bore, yeah? So then you go down to the middle of your bore, about there. So I'm running about a thou out on that. Right, so we set that back at zero, yeah? And you go to the middle of the bore. That's about 0.02 of an inch out there. Then go to the bottom of the bore. See, that's 5 thou bigger. Middle of the bore, about 2 thou. Top of the bore, back to zero. So you've got 5 thou out between the bottom, yeah, and the top.
Right.
Which is, if you feel that groove there, there's a groove, a ridge in there, and not on that side, which is the way the piston throws. So it's worn 5 thou out the top of there.
Right.
But we've got to rebore these anyway. This is just basic how to measure it, yeah?
Okay.
So you've done that way, then you can go that way. So that, we know it zeroes in facing the other way. So you're 2 thou out, yeah? So we've measured it that way,
Yeah.
and that zeroed in. We've measured it that way, and that's 2 thou out. Yeah?
Yep.
So the bore is actually oval, which is normal on something that needs reboring. And then go back into the middle, Getting bigger again, 4 thou, or tighter I should say. Bottom of the bore. Five thou. So it's worn at the top and it's oval. Okay, so that's not giving you a measurement, that's giving you a nominal, you know that it isn't the same through the bore.
Yeah.
Yeah? So you'd imagine a standard bore will always be quite good at the bottom. Yeah, which we've just proved.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 thou out, 5 thou tighter on the bottom all the way round than it is at the top.
Yeah.
Between 4 and 2 thou out. So the standard size on one of these, the bore standard is 2.5 inches. So we pop him in there at the bottom. This isn't giving us an actual measurement at all. All it's doing is giving you nominal sizes, yeah? So that's zeroed out. So that there is the original bore size, I would think, which should be on one of these 2.5 inches. So then what you do, put your vernier in there, micrometer I should say. These are called slip gauges. So you've got going from however many thousandths, they go up in thousandths of an inch, yeah? Right up to 2 inch, 3 inch and 4 inch. So you can check your micrometers are accurate.
Yeah.
You hear that ratcheting noise? That's so you can't over tighten them on the piece you're measuring.
Yeah.
So you put that in there. Okay? So that's as tight as you want to be.
Yeah.
That is 1 thou out, because I mean these all need servicing now, but 1 thou, I'm not going to fret about on that. Okay, so we're happy that that's 2 inches, yeah? So we know our bore should be 2.5 inches. Okay, that's 2.5 inches. And what we do, okay, so you get that to its widest point, which is there. And you zero that back out on your micrometer, yeah? Okay, so we should be 2.500 bang on, yeah? That's your bore size, and we are 2, 5 and 3 thou. So that's 3 thou oversize. Yeah? That's worn by 3 thou.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not at all.
Well, you've measured that, yeah? And that's zeroed out on that measurement.
Yeah.
So then you put that in there,
Yeah.
and you measure that,
Yeah.
and then you zero that back in to that 0 on there,
Okay.
yeah? So when that's on 0 there, whatever that reading then,
Yeah.
if it was all perfectly new, you've zeroed that out on your dial gauge,
Yeah.
you've put it in there,
Yeah.
you've measured it. That should read 2.500,
Yeah.
which is 2.5 inches. This is reading 2.503.
Yeah.
So it's 3 thousandths of an inch over the nominal size that it should be.
Yeah.
So that means that's worn by 3 thou at the bottom,
Yeah.
plus your 5 that was out, yeah? So that'd be 8 thou out at the top, which is probably too much. But we're getting rebores on them anyway. But then what you do, that's your standard piston. You measure your piston, yeah? And you go, gudgeon pin runs that way, you measure it that way, yeah? 90 degrees to the gudgeon pin.
Yeah.
And you want to measure it down at the bottom. So roughly about there.
How snug should that be?
As long as you can just pass that through like that, yeah?
Yeah.
So from your 2.5, that is 4 thou under. So what you then do is go back to your tolerances on your engine chart, because these have to, obviously clearly have to be smaller than that.
Yeah.
But that's probably the wear in the barrel and the wear in the piston. I mean, these haven't been run for very long, but they have been run. So you know, that's 5 thou bigger at the bottom.
Yeah.
Than it should be. 3 thou, wasn't it? 3 thou bigger at the bottom. And your piston is 4 thou under 2.5. So I'd have to look up the tolerance on the piston fit. Standard bore size is 2.5 inches, which we established. Piston diameter is 2.494, so that's 6/1000 of an inch under 2.5 inches. And we'll measure that there. So that, on my measuring, that's 5/1000 of an inch under. So within 1 thou on the piston size, but with that extra play in there, yeah, it's all too much. So that's basically how you measure one. Between that and that, you can correlate the difference between that and that. Like I say, this doesn't matter on these. I knew they were wrong anyway, but he's having bigger pistons fitted to take it out to 600cc. Get them bored and bigger valves fitted. Bigger inlet valves and a bigger venturi in the carburettor. And then it'll be, probably go about 5 mile an hour quicker than it should do.
There you go.
As a 30 quid bit of kit, very handy tool.